Hi guys, welcome back to Alilia's Gaming Corner. First of all, I just want to apologise for not having posted any long form videos for a couple of weeks now. I had quite a lot going on and I haven't been very well, and it's taken me a lot longer than I expected to get my energy and my strength back up to feeling kind of normal. During that time, I have been sent a lot of amazing games that I'm really excited to play, and I want to do as many first looks, let's plays and reviews as I possibly can. And I still want to go back to a couple of the other games we started on this channel. I really want to play more Lies of P and Paleo Pines. Okay, so when I originally recorded this gameplay for Detective Pikachu Returns, I recorded it as a first look, let's play kind of video. Unfortunately, when I came to edit it the next day, I found that the audio was just gone. It just couldn't locate the files, and I don't understand what happened. I didn't delete anything or anything like that. And I always do a backup recording as well. So I do my main audio recording on Audacity and then my backup will be on OBS. I was an idiot, and my OBS backup track did not record any audio. So I have the gameplay footage and there's me moving about reacting to things in the corner, but there's no audio of my voice. But I came up with an idea, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this as a review video for the 3 hours of the game that I've played so far, rather than a first look and let's play kind of thing. So that's what we're going to do today. Detective Pikachu Returns was kindly gifted to me by the team at Nintendo UK, so thank you so much guys, and hey, if you're watching. Now, as I'm an old-timer millennial, you might not be surprised to learn that some of my favourite Pokemon games are Red, Blue, Yellow, Silver and Gold. I went to see the Detective Pikachu movie when it came out, and while I do think it was well made, I do kind of feel like that film could have been made with any franchise. However, I did just recently learn, whilst playing Detective Pikachu Returns, that the film was based on the first game, so yeah, maybe that doesn't make sense what I just said. For me, the film kind of took everything that makes Pokemon out of Pokemon. However, I do feel really excited to play Detective Pikachu Returns, purely based on the trailers I've seen of the game. It looks inviting, it looks like it does have the things that make Pokemon feel like Pokemon. Okay, so let's check it out. Okay, so off the bat, I really liked how this game looked. I know that there's a few people out there who have critiqued the visuals and said that it kind of just looks the same as the 3DS game, but actually I think the visuals are pretty appealing. The colours are vibrant, the environments are inviting, and there's just little details scattered around that really drew me in, like the flowers and the paintings of Ho-Oh and Lugia. I do think it's fair to say that in terms of the graphics and environment fullness, that this game is on par with other recent Pokemon games such as Sword and Shield. I haven't actually played Scarlet and Violet, so I don't feel like I can comment on that, but I do think that that's the level that we were kind of all expecting for this game. So right at the start of the game we meet a lot of the main characters. Tim, Mayor Maya, Chief Will Butler, Tim's mum and sister, and Rachel. And we see all of these characters quite frequently throughout the game. I actually really like the design of all of these characters, and I found them very likeable, which makes me happy to interact with them whenever I have to in the game. And it's nice learning more about them when you do get to talk to them. I actually think Tim is such a lovely character. He's just got that good boy quality, he is polite, he's determined, and you know, he's really focused on his goals, but at the same time, it's just nice to everyone. So I definitely feel like I'm vouching for Tim and good things to happen to him. I really like Rachel's style and pink hair, and I think that Chief Will Butler definitely has something about him that I quite like too. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not sure I'm ever gonna be completely on board with a Pikachu having this type of voice, and the whole concept of it really is just a bit weird to me, but I'm sure I'll warm up in time. I love that there's an array of Pokemon in each environment, all doing their own thing. Seeing Pokemon from all generations is definitely a treat. I especially loved seeing Whimsicott floating through the city and how we get those little explanations of what the Pokemon are doing and why. I know with the movie that they only have like a certain amount of time to tell the story and everything, but because they didn't have that opportunity to have these little moments or explanations of Pokemon behaviour, and that was all kind of taken out of it, that is what separates the film from this game for me, is that the game has that time to give that fullness of the lore and world of Pokemon and the world building and you know, to tell you about these fantastic, unique little creatures that we've all come to love. Now, if you've been following me and my content for a while, especially my gaming reviews on Instagram, you'll know that I do like to be as honest and authentic as I possibly can. And so I feel like I really want to tell you some honest opinions of mine about this game. I'd say that this boils down to maybe about 3 main qualms that I have with the game, and that they all kind of link together in a way as well. Now, please, if you do think that my opinions are wrong or that I haven't played enough of the game to be able to say this, then let me know in the comments. I am planning on playing the entirety of the game. I'm going to be playing it in my own time, so, you know, there's time for things to change. But yeah, I am more than happy to hear your opinions and thoughts on what I have to say today. In short, I feel like this game, at least gameplay-wise, was designed for quite young children. But on the flip side of that, it's text-heavy, and you have to be quite an avid reader to make any progress in the game. And that makes me wonder if this was a bit of a misjudgment of target audience, because it seems a little bit mixed to me, and not in a way that makes it more playable to a more expansive audience, but maybe actually makes it more niche. I understand that Detective Pikachu is a kind of visual novel, but it's also a puzzle game, a mystery story, and you can move about and interact with the environments. That being said, as a child, the Pokemon games 100% helped me to develop my reading skills. When I was about 5 to 8 years old, I really struggled with reading and spelling. I can remember going home with my spelling homework and it was not fun. But once I started playing Pokemon Red and Blue, that actually completely changed. I started making such an effort to seek out books that I could read. And I went from reading the types of books that were aimed at kids my age to reading much larger novels. And actually, when I was scored on my reading abilities at school, during primary school, I exceeded the charts that they could test me on. So I do think that part of that, a large part of that, is down to having played the earlier Pokemon games, Pokemon Red and Blue, and, you know, there is a lot of reading through it. Like you're reading dialogue constantly, you're going through menus and making choices, and you have to be able to understand what the words are and the meaning and implications of those words to make the choices to progress through the game. And yeah, I think that was actually a really good way to learn to read. And so perhaps a game like this would be good for children or anyone really who needs a little more help with learning to read. It could be a good way to go. So I do think that point is worth mentioning, especially perhaps if you're a parent who's wondering how good video games are for your kids. Well, so long as they're within the age rating for your child, I would say they can be pretty good. It also depends on the type of gameplay and everything as well, but if it's a text-based game where there is a lot of reading, it could actually help your kid quite a lot. Now, personally, I think that a better approach for this game would be to either add more challenge to the puzzles and add more puzzles, because actually I don't feel like there's actually that much interactive gameplay, or to decrease the amount of text that you do have to read. I think personally a mixture would be great. For me, I'd probably enjoy the game more if there was a bit more puzzle solving and a bit more challenge in that, using your brain a little bit more than the game lets you, and just a little less dialogue. And that will actually now bring me to my next point, which kind of feels like a bit of a stinker. You cannot skip dialogue options. For a game where the main element of it is to talk to NPCs, investigate and interrogate through conversation, through dialogue options, you'd think that once you felt you'd learnt enough, the game would allow you to exit the conversation and move on to the next part of the game. Nope. I found that sometimes I'd have to run through another 5 dialogue options with one character before I could fully leave the conversation. And the real kick in the pokeballs about this, they're very often repeating something that you've heard a handful of characters tell you already. As much as I love reading, and trust me, it's something that I love to indulge myself in, I do happen to be someone with an incredibly short attention span, and sometimes, unfortunately, when I'm reading, it makes me so sleepy that I will just nod off in seconds. And that goes for games as well. So personally, for someone like myself, you might be the same, you might not. I need to be able to exit a conversation where it's so text heavy and be able to save the game very quickly. This game is not like that. And at the risk of sounding like a negative Nancy here, I do feel like the way that the game is so overly linear, it really takes out a huge element of discovery and being able to be intuitive and make choices for yourself in the game. And that's kind of a bit of a fun killer for me. Now, maybe I'm wrong, and please do let me know if you think I am, but I played a good 3 hours of this while I was putting together my thoughts and review. Maybe the puzzles and clue seeking do become more challenging and creative later on, but I played for a good 3 hours and this is just how I feel personally. I do want to add a few more positive points about this game though. Despite its rather large qualms, I do think that this is a really nice game. Now, this is by no means a game that is right for someone who wants something fast-paced and challenging, and that's okay. But there are plenty of people out there who will enjoy its visual novel style, its slower and more relaxed pace, and getting to know the characters as the story unfolds. And like I said before, visually it's lovely. The characters are likeable and intriguing, and there are plenty of cute moments with a plethora of Pokemon. I also really actually enjoyed the music. The film noir jazz had me bopping around while I played. I liked the cozy little coffee shop, finding secret areas to explore, helping the citizens solve their smaller cases, and just kind of generally seeing the bigger story unfold. All in all, I do think that Detective Pikachu Returns is a really nice cozy game if you enjoy a slower pace, lots of cute Pokemon, and challenging gameplay, and don't mind quite a lot of reading. This is absolutely one of those games that I'll be adding to my bedtime loop. You know, when I have one of those evenings where I've got a bit more time to mentally unwind and just want to get cozy and enjoy something that I don't need to think about too much. I think the light reading, no, I can't say light reading. I think that the reading and beautiful environments in the game is actually something that will help to aid me towards getting a better sleep, in fact, because it would leave me feeling so relaxed. If you've played the original Detective Pikachu on 3DS, or you're playing or are planning on playing Detective Pikachu Returns, please let me know your thoughts about the game in the comments below. Do you agree or disagree with the things that I've said today? I'd like to hear your thoughts. If you've enjoyed today's video, please remember to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget, you can also find me on Instagram, Twitter/X and TikTok. That's it for today. Hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye!